Good morning, everyone. My name is Shaun Mumford. As was mentioned, I'm the Managing Director of Environserve in Kenya. I'm in the Innovation, Technology and Research section. My kind of focus is much more practical, but today I'll discuss the technology we have access to through the group that we're associated with, and which has been critical to our ability to operate. And then I'll just talk about how we access that across the region that we operate. So Environserve Kenya started 4 years ago. We were a group of people from the payments industry. We had no experience in e-waste, but we wanted to do something that would assist and make a difference to the environment. And so we had a number of issues, and it was really just a lack of access to both knowledge and to technology. And at that time, we were lucky enough to have Environserve in Dubai, who were building the recycling hub, and that we were able to join and become associated with, and that kind of addressed a lot of our issues. That meant that we were able to start the project as part of a community and then work on establishing that community locally. And Environserve in Kenya is focused on being a for-profit social enterprise. We are really trying to find a way to process e-waste in Kenya in a way that is self-funding and make sure that it is sustainable in the long term. This gives you a couple of views of the plant that was built in Dubai. In typical fashion in Dubai, it was done on a greenfield site and entirely from scratch. It's pretty large. The technology was all imported from Europe, designed and put together by a Swiss company, and from the beginning designed to exceed European Union standards. The plant cost over $33 million US, so a huge investment on the part of the operation in Dubai, and really only sustainable in the long term if we can feed that plant from various locations. The overall facility is 37,000 square meters, and the plant, the actual shredding and sorting facility, is 26,000 square meters. So that's hard to kind of imagine in terms of size, but I think you can see like a car outside and people standing there gives you some indication of the size. And it can handle 50,000 tons per annum of electronic waste, which is around 100 tons per day. Again, for those of us who are collecting e-waste in Africa, those are quite frightening numbers to have to feed into the machines. This gives you an idea of the components broken out, and you can see that there's a large number of different workstations that work separately and in combination. It includes 3 areas where manual review of the waste stream is done. So, for example, once things are shredded, if batteries have been missed, there's a place where those can be removed, and other problematic fractions can be pulled out manually. So there is some overall manual supervision of the streams, but most of the separation is done manually. The plant has 0 air and liquid emission, and there's a filter system, which you can see on the top right-hand side. Everything is sealed and filters into that, so that the whole plant is safe and easy to work in. It's also pretty quiet in operation. That was the thing that I think struck me most when I was there. Everything is insulated well enough, so it's not a problem to be in that area. And offices are in the same building, but just sectioned off at the end. There are also specific specialist pieces of equipment for pre-processing of toner cartridges, for example, and cable that are then fed into the plant at different stages. And the path through the plant varies for different fractions. So they can be collected from one stage and fed back in a later one for further processing. So it's not like you go end to end all the time, but they handle it in a way that makes sense for the particular things that they're processing on the day. The guys are very proud of the state-of-the-art technology. It took a few years to put in place, but the final fractions can be broken down to as small as 1 millimeter across. And that, when you put a fridge in at one end or an air conditioner or something of that size, when you start to see the tiny little pieces that come out, it's quite impressive. The plant is entirely mechanical separation, so there's no chemicals involved, and the shredding and sorting of the various metals makes it simple for handling and transporting and the downstream processing from there on. So again, you can see some pictures of pieces that are coming out of various sizes. And again, the choice is made depending on what's there. Do you bring it out at a sort of a chunkier level, or do you push it down to the sort of 1 millimeter level, depending on what needs to be sorted? For us, this is the innovation. So the technology was important, but how do we use it? And Environserve, at the same time that they started setting up the recycling hub, which is the technology, also started to establish a network of affiliated organizations. So it's a hub and spoke model. Different countries operate in different ways. So we have tier 1, which are serviced directly by Environserve, tier 2 served by Environserve with other partners, and tier 3 where we collect much more on an ad hoc basis, depending on what's needed. And each country deals with what they can locally, and then it's fed into the recycling hub for further processing, consolidation, and onward shipment. It allows additional technology requirements to be identified and added. So as fractions are brought into the center and consolidated there, we can work out what needs to be done, add technology at the middle, and then decide whether that's suitable for pushing out to country levels, where volumes are obviously much smaller and costs are more of a problem. And the processes that work at the center are also evaluated for suitability for in-country use. One of the great things about the hub is it provides a focus for knowledge sharing and transfer among affiliates, and we are constantly talking to each other and other people who are interested in getting involved in e-waste across the region. So it is a very collaborative process that's ongoing. That's basically all I had to say within the short time that was allocated, and I'll be happy to take questions at the end.
Thank you very much, Shaun. Impressive, well, it's great that we have these large facilities as well, complementing the smaller ones around.